Hello there, welcome to Sheppo Looks at Hunter Talents for Mist of Pandaria beta. Now I think at some point I'm gonna talk through what my selections are for each of these talents that we've got every 15 levels. But the one that's causing a lot of confusion out there at the minute for a lot of hunters and a lot of the hunter community is the level 75 tier. And just which one's going to be better for which kind of situation. So I wanted to go through, and I've done some very basic log parsing on each of these, and I just want to say what I found. But first I want to start with how I thought they would work out. I mean, I'm a PvE player. I don't really do PvP, but I understand how it works. I understand the kind of things you want to do in PvP, and I know some of the concerns that have come from doing PvP in Cataclysm. So I'm going to say how I think these would have played out, and then I'm going to tell you what my findings were. And personally, I was a little bit surprised. Okay, Murder of Crows summons a powerful... Hang on, that's not the right one. A Murder of Crows summons a flock of crows to attack your target over the next 30 seconds. If used on a target below 20% health, the cooldown will be reset. Now, I thought... doesn't look that great. When you actually see it attacking a target, the damage doesn't look that great on the numbers, and I figured this would be something a lot like Snake Trap in PvP. It's absolutely useless in PvE unless you've got a bugged out boss where it's showing damage between all things in a certain area. You don't tend to get many of those anymore, but sometimes they slip through. But in PvP, it's quite useful, because what will happen is if you're being attacked by somebody, what you can do with a snake trap is you can lay a snake trap, feign death, and what will happen is the person that's attacking you will lose focus on you. They will target by default one of your snakes. Now, for a skilled PvP player, that's not an issue. They will probably have a last target macro or just be very quick at selecting you again. Tab targeting doesn't really work in that situation. What it can do is it can give you an advantage, because basically you can escape and you can start causing some havoc again. Now I figured Murder Crows would work exactly like that, and it may well do. I've not done any PvP to test that out, but each crow is a separate targetable entity, and it's sticking to the person that it's attacking, and therefore it should help swap targets. Okay, so let's have a look at what that actually looks like. What I'm doing is I'm here in Thunderbluff. The target dummies in Orgrimmar were being absolutely spammed. The flip side of that is what we're going to do. There is a level 90 raiding, sorry, 93 I guess it is, raiding target dummy there. There is a level 81 around the other side, but I've done all my testing on level 70. So what happens is we mid-fight we'll call in some crows, and you'll see them fly in and do a bit of damage, and that's all very well and good. And we can select one of those crows, you see, and they'll do their thing, and then eventually they'll despawn after about 25 seconds. Target says 30 seconds. But realistically, how that works out is, I think it takes a few seconds for them to fly in, basically, so you don't actually get the full 30-second duration of damage. Okay, so that's how that works. Obviously I can't test that in a if the target is below 20% health, the cooldown is reset scenario. So theoretically you could get some much better usage out of the Murder of Crows, and you could potentially just keep spamming that. Might be worth trying. There is a cooldown normally of a minute. Okay, let's move on to the next talent, which is Call Beast. Call Beast is bugged at the minute, I believe. I think you can just spam it, and it looks a bit like this. And if you're not attacking anything, it's a waste of your, is it 30 second cooldown, and eventually I think it'll disappear. Or maybe not. Maybe there we go. It just disappears. Now, if we've got a pet out, it doesn't overrule our pet. Our pet can be going away and doing this thing and getting nice 21k crits. Now, if we send in the call pet, it's a random thing out for 3 pets each time. So we can have them both out, and that's a 30-second cooldown. As I say, at the minute it's not on a cooldown, so you can go absolutely ballistic with it. Probably, I'll be trying this out later. It's probably a lot of fun for soloing raids, which I wouldn't normally get the opportunity to do particularly well. Okay, so the way I figured that one would play out, Core Beast, I figured that would probably be the best for PvE, especially Beastmaster, because pets for Beastmaster pretty good. Cooldown short, and you're getting focus back each time it does deals damage. You will gain 2 focus. Sounds pretty good, right? Okay, let's move on to Lynx Rush. Let's just learn Lynx Rush. So Lynx Rush, your pet rapidly charges from target to target, attacking 9 times over 4 seconds, dealing its normal attack damage to each target. Now, the way I figured this one would work is, and when I read this on the web, it mentioned 100-yard range. It has got 100-yard range. So you would think, out of all these 5 targets that we can see here, they're all in 100-yard range, so it should attack all of those, right? You would think. And in an arena and battlegrounds, that would be hilarious. Especially if you could... I don't know whether it would work with Stampede. Obviously we don't have that. The important thing being it's a hunter talent, not a pet talent. So if you've got other pets, maybe Lynx Rush works with those as well. But we can't test that yet, that's all theory. And if that was the case, I'm sure that would be a bug and it would get fixed fairly sharpish. So at the minute, what actually happens is it looks a little bit like this. That wasn't even the one I was targeting, it's just the one that's probably a little bit closest. I also figured it wouldn't work on single target, but actually it works perfectly fine. It will deal that amount of damage single target, and that's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to dive into some numbers that I've collated, and hopefully I've not had a mathematical brain fart and figured this out incorrectly. But I'm going to go through these, and what I've done is I've spammed these abilities based on their cooldown. So Core Beast, I've used the 30-second cooldown instead of actually spamming it, and I've done about 5 minutes to 10 minutes testing just to get a feel of what they're like. Okay, so Lynx Rush over about 10 minutes had a DPS of 145.5. That's not great. I don't think that's particularly great, and it's not giving us anything else. Okay, so the DPS isn't great, the cooldown is the longest cooldown, and unlike Core Beast, we're not getting some focus back. Okay, so that was third in the DPS stakes. Core Beast was second at 869.2 DPS, which again isn't great. Bearing in mind these are level 60 and 70. Well, I was testing it on the 70 dummies. That's not great. But what about the focus regen, I hear you cry? Because obviously that's really important, and that's one of the key things that a lot of hunters in PvP fed back to Blizzard when they asked for their class feedback. Hunter focus regeneration is very poor, and it's not as good as rogues, for example, and rogues have a lot of abilities to get focus back. Okay, so Core Beast hits each time for 6 hits, and we get 2 focus each time the animal deals damage. So that's 72. sorry, that's 12 focus each time, and I ran that 6 times, so I got 72 focus. Over the duration of how long it takes to do 6 of those, it worked out at about 0.44 focus a second. Not that great, I don't think. Again, it's probably a PvP one. I think I called it out as a PvE, best PvE spec, best DPS. It's probably for those moments where you need additional focus. We've also got things like fervor to increase focus, but this is on another tier, so maybe that'll help. The cooldown is short, the DPS is poor. As I mentioned with Murder of Crows, it might help disorient your target, and maybe they'll select that other beast, maybe. But they're the only benefits I can think of. DPS isn't great, it's not quite as bad as Lynx Rush, at least. And that leads us on to a Murder of Crows, which was doing pretty awesome DPS actually. I was surprised, and that was doing 4.5k, 4,520 DPS. Murder Crows. It's a 1-minute cooldown. It's a medium cooldown. It runs, like I said, for about 25 seconds. You have a 4 or 5 second lead in. But also, it's got that if used on a target below 20% health, the cooldown will be reset, which I think is pretty awesome. And I think in PvE, that's going to be amazing. And then you've got that, as I mentioned, that PvP potential utility. That's somebody's going to need to test that out, but that could potentially work as well. So it's quite clear what the winner is. It's a Murder of Crows. It's got an awesome name. I just only wish it looked a little bit better on the graphical front. I want to see birds swarming around, getting all up in their grill and everything, but sadly not. Okay, the next tier I'm going to tackle is the level 60 tier, because this is interesting. There's I'm going to have to put a bit more effort into the older combat log parsing, but I think it'll be interesting to see what we can get out of that. So join me next time, and remember, if you've liked this video, or if you've spotted any stupid mistakes I've made, and there's probably lots, leave me a comment, rate it up or down, and subscribe if you want. Doesn't really matter, it'd be nice, but you know. And I'll see you next time, and we'll have more Mist of Pandaria stuff and information coming out soon. I'll see you later.